can see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 841 of the TheLOTSProject Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and today it's June 2nd, 2025. This morning I'm enjoying a fresh cup of Light Colombian from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean Airstream roaster. More than just a customer, your family. You get 10% off with code LOTS10, LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out the C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today's show, we got a bunch of awesome topics. We're talking about the rise of the flock surveillance system. If you haven't heard of that, it's interesting. The twisted concept of a euthanasia roller coaster, a memorable conversation with a lovely Lowe's employee this weekend, and an update on the woodworking projects Corey and I have been working on, plus a new tool in the shop. So grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. Good morning over there. Jim, want to let you know, no Noster this morning, having issues with the Noster stream. So thanks for joining me over here. Appreciate that. Mike's Homestead, thanks for joining in and appreciate you. Oh, man. Good weekend, guys. A good weekend. Nice weather. Finally, the rain subsided for a few days in a row, and it looks like it's going to be through at least the beginning of the week. So that was nice. That was nice not to have dodge raindrops to try to work on some stuff outside, because we can't really work on much inside here. And actually, right before the show, I was playing a little Crash over on Ember. Was excited to see Ember brought back Crash. And if you don't know what Ember is, you can earn Bitcoin daily. It's basically like a little mini miner. You get Bitcoin rewards, and then to claim the rewards, you need to play their games to win the Bitcoin. You wager the Bitcoin that you earned, and you get to claim the winnings and withdraw the winnings. It's not bad. It's not bad. You can do pretty good on Ember. I've brought home I think upwards of 200,000 sats since I started playing. So Crash is an interesting game. If you are patient at all and employ a conservative strategy, it's like Chris Dixon said in the chat the other day. It's easy money. So they're gonna drop the Ember link in the video description and in the comments. And if you haven't tried out Ember, checked it out, I would suggest it. I think it's worth the time if you use it like anything, like Fold, like anything where you're earning. If you figure out a strategy, if you take some time to adjust the way you do things, if you employ a reason, if you figure out the game and play the game, you can make it worth it. So if you just go for it, yeah, maybe you get lucky, but there are ways to maximize returns. Good morning, Pip. Thanks for popping in. Happy Monday to you, sir. Heading to the pew pew range. Pew 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 pew. Looks like it's a little steamy down there in Florida. Jim and Pip down in Florida. Let's see. Rachel just dropped a note in the Telegram chat asking about did you see Ross Bitcoin? Ross Ulbricht? Is that who you're talking about? I saw that he gave a speech on the 10th anniversary of when he got put in jail. Is that who you'd be talking about? But I don't know of a Ross Bitcoin. I didn't see the speech. I saw that he gave a speech, and we were too busy living life this weekend to get into online stuff. I've been kind of detached actually, and the online stuff I've been doing Magically had a ton of coins gifted. I don't think it's that magically. As soon as he got out of prison, Noster was lighting him up with just stacks upon stacks. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But anyway, let's get to it. First topic today is something that I was scrolling along the other day and saw a news article out of Jackson, Tennessee here. About an hour, what is it, northwest of us, where we're at now. It's I would say the closest semi-decent sized city, Jackson, Tennessee. 300 Bitcoin. Yeah. So it's probably the closest decent sized city. And then that would be right in between Memphis and Nashville. So right on I-40 that cuts across all of Tennessee. So there was a story that the whole highway was shut down with a heavy law enforcement because the flock system spotted somebody that they were looking for. And I was like, what the fuck is the flock system, and why is the highway shut down because one car was spotted by it? So I started looking into it, and this is something that I've seen before. I didn't recall the name of the system, and I think it's from the little bit of digging, the proof that Bitcoin works. Yeah. Oh, I mean, the Canadian truckers were the original proof case of Bitcoin working. And when they locked all those accounts down. But anyway, I think Flock is actually the company that's making this system. And I know it's been employed in other cities and this and that, but what it is it's a license plate reading system where it collects license plate numbers, it collects vehicle make, model, color, and that type of thing of every car that drives by. And I have some cliff notes on it here, and it kind of infuriated me just reading about it. So I did the cliff notes, and let's see. It captures images of every vehicle that passes, but logs the plate number and stores vehicle data for 30 plus days. Who was using it was kind of troubling to me. So law enforcement agencies, obviously, they think they can just do whatever. Good morning, Hunter, over on Twitch. Thanks for popping in. Law enforcement agencies, but HOAs and neighborhood associations and private businesses are being targeted, are being marketed to buy Flock. And I was like, wait a second. So I was doing a little research using ChatGPT. I was like, hey, you got to verify this shit. I know government agencies can do this type of thing in the name of public safety, but really HOAs and HOAs. Jim says, I think it started in 1984. Well, maybe the Department of Surveillance. But I wanted to fact check that. Is that Flock Safety, obviously, is the company, markets its LPR, license plate reader technology, directly to HOAs and residential communities. Their official material highlight partnerships with HOAs and neighborhoods to enhance security. In Tennessee, specifically, the Collierville neighborhood, and HOA implemented the Flock cameras, enabling real-time alerts to local law enforcement when vehicles associated with criminal activities entered their neighborhood. And then there's a neighborhood in Nashville that's put it in. It's interesting. So the spin on it from ChatGPT was, this is really dangerous. And they were focused, the system, the AI was focusing on the HOAs and the neighborhoods and the private businesses not having any oversight on who gets the data, who shares the data, how long they save it. And they're like, but the police, they have oversight. They have to have transparency. They have to have transparency in how long they can hold the data and what data they're collecting. Read Wildlife kind of nails it. It says, so if they can track criminal vehicles, they're tracking every vehicle. And now here's the rub. When this is what it made me think of. Okay, hold on. So who's using it? I said why it's needed was to this is their cry of why this system should be even invented. It says to combat crime, recover stolen vehicles, and locate suspects faster. When I was driving back from picking up solar panels, and if you haven't heard that whole adventure, I talked about it on one of the shows. I'm not sure what episode, but would have been back in January or February. I don't remember. But anyway, on my way back, I got pulled over because the safety chain had come loose and it was sparking going down the highway. Which, whatever, that's a legitimate reason to get pulled over. But in the process, when the cops were standing there talking to me, yes, cops, plural, they had 2 cars pull me over because I must have looked very dangerous with my big blow with solar panels on a trailer. They were standing there and I was listening to their chatter on their radios when they were calling in my license plate. And it came back as a 1980s blue Chevy. Problem is I drive a 2011 F-250 and it's red. Not even anywhere close to the right vehicle. So with the government databases being so spot on as they are, and these license plate reader technologies interacting with it, and I just don't see anything going wrong with that. Jim says, I was pulled over twice in one trip north because of my out-of-state plates. One brought out the canine unit and went through the van. Yeah. About canine units. They're all trained to alert on command. So if they want to get in your vehicle and they bring the canine unit, they're weird. We had a canine unit alert on a car. They ripped the car apart. A friend of mine, and when I was back post college back in New York, we were out drinking. He wasn't drinking. We were out drinking, and I was drinking. And there was nothing in the car. And when we got pulled over, there was a skunk that had sprayed, a couple blocks away. It was a faint skunk smell. It could have easily been mistaken for weed. And the cop smelled it. And he's like, oh, what do you got in the car? And I don't know, nothing. We don't have anything in the car. I wish it did. And he continued to press. His partner says, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. And then they made us wait for a canine unit to come. Canine unit alerted on the car. There was nothing in the car. They tore through the car, found nothing in the car, and then left us. So, yeah. Jim says, I asked what the probable cause was. He said the dog alerted and he laughed. Yeah. 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 Good luck in that situation. It's such a joke. But this flock system, I feel violated. I feel violated. What business is it of anybody's when and where I drive my vehicle? I jump through your hoops. I have a license to operate the vehicle. I can use the public. I pay taxes to install the public roads. I can go where I want, when I want, legally. Whose business is it of yours? None of your fucking business where I go. The fact that you have a record of where I go, when I go, can retroactively be used if you suspect me of something. Don't say it can't. So It's irritating. It's irritating, especially here in the land of the free. It's interesting that we moved to Tennessee, and it wasn't necessarily because of the freedom. It was, but this was more climate related and community related, and it's really interesting to see the bullshit here um, that you wouldn't suspect in the state of the free. Rewilder Life says the illusion of freedom, but just the nanny state bullshit that goes on here, and it's weird because you talk to a lot of people in the rural areas like we're in, and they are super anti-government, but then in the other breath, cheering on the boot on their neck. So I don't know. Flock is here to stay. Flock is here to stay. That's why I'm going to stay out in the woods and only drive someplace where they would implement this in a very extreme cases, and just try not to worry about all the satellite surveillance and CIA and NSA surveillance that's everywhere. So, but flock license plate readers coming to a neighborhood near you soon, if they're not there already. The next thing on my list was another thing that I came across in a moment of scrolling the other day, and I just thought it was interesting. It's not a real thing. It's a conceptual project. Jim says, "What the flock?" Yeah, no shit. So it's flock. If you're looking into it and you want to dig into it more, you can search flock, 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 flock security, flock safety, or I believe Sparrow. Muted. Did I get muted? Or Sparrow. Jim, are you having issues or am I having issues? Because I don't think I'm muted. My mic's still on. Oh, it's not you, it's me. Jim. Thanks, Jim. I was probably fine on Noster for the last 3 weeks, and Jim's like, I can't see the video. It says you're live. It says you're live, but I can't see the video. Everybody else is like, I don't know, it's fine for me. Jim. Hey, good morning, Chris Dixon. Chris Dixon says flock is, but it's for your own safety. Yeah, for sure. So flock, and then I believe there was another system that coincides with it called Sparrow. So flock and Sparrow. I see what they're doing there with the birds, but yeah. Before I get to the art project, I would talk about the Blockstream Jade. Right now, they got a sale going on for the release of the new Blockstream app. So they had Blockstream Green. The Green app was what you used, was the native app for the Blockstream Jade and JadePlus. They've just launched the Blockstream app. They've rebranded as the Blockstream app instead of Green. And to celebrate the launch of that, they are running a sale until, I believe it's June 8th. Next Sunday, June 8th, I believe. June 8th, whether it's next Sunday or not, is the day that the sale ends, or when supplies are gone. But you can buy a Jade Plus and add a regular Jade to your cart, and it will cost you $21. So that's about 60% off, I believe. So head on over to the Blockstream store. Link is in the video description or the audio description. It should be in all the descriptions. Or you can just head to store.blockstream.com and use TheLOTSProject for 10% off. And I'll earn a little bit of ching on that. I appreciate it. I get paid in Bitcoin, so that is a good way to go. Mike Somstead said, and the code doesn't work. Okay, so the code doesn't work. Please put the code in so I get credit for the sale. I guess you don't get a discount on top of the discount. That doesn't surprise me. But please, if you are gonna buy, if you would put the code in or use the link to start the trip so that I get credit. I'll have to email my rep and see about that. Interesting. But it'd be a great time to pick up a Jade Plus if you've been waiting for one and don't have a Jade, or even if you do, you could pick an extra one up. Start a wallet for nieces, nephews, kids, grandkids, or a friend, and show them the way. Orange pill them the way that you can orange pill somebody pretty easy by giving them a little Bitcoin and teaching them how to use it. So. Anyway, Jade, Blockstream Jade on Jade Plus. Mike's home said he tried Saturday. Okay, interesting. I will. I'll send him a message and be like, I've had a bunch of people tell me they tried to use my code, it didn't work. I hope I get credit for their purchases. It'd be like, we didn't sell any, asshole. Anyway, Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus, whether I get credit for it or not, I do highly recommend using it. And if you don't want to use Jade or Jade Plus, use some sort of hardware device, some sort of signing device to protect your Bitcoin, because people are going to start trying to get it the more valuable that it is, and give yourself some protection. So if you need help, reach out to me. I can help you get started if you need help figuring it out. Moving on to the next little thing that I saw, and I just threw it on the topic list, was this thing. It was one of those facts. There's some page on Facebook that I follow, weird facts or something like that, and they have some pretty interesting stuff on there actually. But this one caught my eye. It was called the Euthanasia Coaster. And this was a thing. It hasn't been built. It hasn't been used. It was a concept that was designed by an artist who was also a roller coaster design engineer. So this dude from Lithuania named Ulionis, I think. I'm not fluent in Lithuanian, but Julijonas Urbonas. Back in 2010, he designed a roller coaster to provide a quote unquote humane and elegant way to end life, supposedly with euphoria. From the little bit of research I did on it, it would actually cause extreme terror and euphoria, and I'm not sure really if that's how I want to die. I'm thinking in my sleep would be right there up at the top of the list, so I don't know what the hell happened. I just go to sleep, have some dreams, and don't wake up. But this dude thinks that euphoria comes from this roller coaster that he designed, where you start out with a super slow climb up to 500 meters, so that's taller than the Empire State Building, and then drop extremely vertical drop on this, and then you go into 7 loops, which as they progress through the 7, the loops get smaller and smaller and tighter and tighter and tighter, and by the end, Chris Dixon says, in my sleep, not screaming in terror like everyone else in the car. Yeah. I was more like everyone else on the bus. But anyway, as you're going through these loops, the G-forces are increasing and increasing and increasing. And if you've ever watched any sort of space movies or anything like that, you know that they do the G-force testing. And as G-forces rise, the blood gets pulled from your brain, and you black out. This would end up being, by the end of the 7th loop, a 10 G's, unsurvivable, basically draining all the blood from your head, withholding the oxygen from your brain, and basically causing death within the 7 spirals. Then you also went through a bunch of other stuff after to evacuate your body. And yeah, so I see this picture of this roller coaster and the write-up about what it is and why it exists and it doesn't exist, why the concept was brought. And I'm picturing who would choose to do this. There are so many better ways to off yourself, I have to imagine. Dying naturally, like, I'm not a proponent of suicide. I mean, euthanasia in the right case, if you terminal illness, something like that, I suppose there's definitely a case to be made for that. But to do it on a roller coaster, this dude's pretty twisted. I mean, and I got some messed up things that I think about, but I don't know if I could have ever dreamt up, hey, I think we should kill people on roller coasters. The fact that he believes that it's a way to go out in style, with a humane and elegant way. I don't know. My end thought really, oh, cheap viewers on streamboo.com remove the space. Oh, lucky me. My final thought on it as I was like processing the fact that this thing may exist at some point, if there's a design, there's a possibility that it'll be built at some point. It hasn't been built yet. But who's going to clean this shit up? Like literally the shit. Can you imagine the mess in a roller coaster like this? Because not only do the G-forces pull the oxygen and the blood from your brain, your lungs, it also kind of pulls everything out. And I don't know. And then after death, certain things are released as you're strapped into this seat. I don't know. I don't know who you could get to work it. I don't know. But anyway, that's Euthanasia Roller Coaster. Not a reality yet, but man, if the flock system keeps going the way it's going, maybe they will be using this for they're going to strap people in this to humanely execute them. Jim says, how much Bitcoin would I take to do that? Ride the roller coaster or clean it up? You could be like Ross. You only have to go to jail for 10 years. They'll send you a lot of Bitcoin. So yeah, that was an interesting find. I had definitely some ponderings over that while I was driving down to Savannah and sanding on woodworking projects and stuff like that. It was something to definitely contemplate. Hey, look at that. Ironically, Bitcoin roller coaster. Chris Dixon says you sit in a plastic bag and then the car stops suddenly, zips the bag, and hurls you into a sinkhole. Right? I mean, I'm pretty sure Dr. Jack Kevorkian had a way cleaner and more humane setup to help his I guess they were victims, patients, clients, customers. I don't know what you would call Dr. Jack Kevorkian's people that paid him. But anyway. Saturday, Saturday, Corey and I took our normal trip to Savannah to get groceries, to pick up meat, and we had to pick up some supplies at Lowe's and Walmart. And I get, man, you guys ever go into Lowe's? And I don't know any other store. I can't think of a store right now that I frequent that they all have self checkout. Okay, this is self checkout rant, for sure. They most of the stores I go into, actually down here, quite a few of them don't use self checkout, but the ones that have self checkout usually have a limited amount of lanes open with an employee checking people out. And I guess Lowe's, if you go to the pro desk and you go to that end and you go where the lumber yard is, they do have a person working, at least one working, usually working a register. So I guess I can't say that they don't have anybody, but the setup where they have the main checkout and the registers and the exit door, Lowe's, and it's not just here, it's pretty much everywhere I've been, has 4 or 5 checkouts where a employee would be, and then they have 4 to 6 self checkout lanes, and no one is ever working the manual checkouts, the employee checkouts. But there's always a fucking employee standing at the self checkouts bothering you. What I would have to say is bothering me, coming over, asking if I fucking need help. No, I need you to just fucking open a register and bring my shit out. Would be the best thing. This is every time I walk in there, and I that's what I think of is I have to come over here. I have to deal with your fucking retarded ass while I self check out. So why don't you just open the register and do it yourself? You have to pick through all my shit, make sure I'm not stealing stuff and whatever. And there's been multiple times I've been in there. There's been multiple employees standing in the self checkout, helping the customers check out. So anyway, this is an ongoing irritant that I have when I go there. And I usually do go to the pro desk, and for some reason, Corey and I, we met up in the middle of the store. I went and got my stuff. She had to go get some stuff, and we met up in the middle of the store. And on the way by, I walked by, and this woman was standing there, employee was standing at the self checkout, and she's like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And I'm just like, and she just irritated me just standing there by the self checkouts. And so we did our shopping. We meet back up, and we start checking out. And I'm trying to talk to Corey and trying to ignore this lady that's standing there hovering. And I'm ringing the stuff in, and we had a Rubbermaid to a command tote. I'm ringing the stuff up and throwing it in the tote, and she comes over. She reaches in, she grabs something out of the tote, and she's like, "I gotta scan this. I gotta." And I was like, "I already scanned it." And to her benefit, it had a security tag on it. Jim's wondering what part of the Stoic book is this about, right? To her credit, there was a security tag in it, and I hadn't swiped, I hadn't put it on the thing. Again, the fact that she could have been fucking ringing me out, I wouldn't have had to worry about this. But she's digging in the stuff and doing, and I looked at her and I was like, "Why don't you just open a fucking register? Why are you standing there and you can't open a register, but you can come over here and walk over here and reach through my stuff and ring the stuff out?" She says to me, I would love to do that, but I'm not trained. I couldn't catch the beginning of it because she didn't say this too loudly. But she's like, I am not trained as a cash employee, and it would be a conflict of interest, is what I caught out of what she said to me. It would be a conflict of interest for her to run a register. And I looked at Corey and I just had a bewildered look on my face. I couldn't discuss it in the store, but we checked out. And as we're walking out, I'm like, how the fuck would it be a conflict of interest for an employee of a business to run a register to save the company from being ripped off through self-checkout? How? I can't even put a concept together in my head where it would be a conflict of interest for an employee to run a register. I can't wrap my head around it. She also said she would love to run a register and not just be forced to stand around and hold down the floor. And Corey said, well, she imagines that the irritated people like me yelling at her all day for not opening a goddamn register probably gets old. What is the? I don't get this. Jim says it's not a conflict. She misspoke because the homeless guy made her nervous. Chris Dixon says, you know, someone else said that in an employee meeting, right? It just, I was like, I couldn't deal with it. Like, really, when I go into Lowe's and I have to use self-checkout, it makes me mad just having to do it. Hunter says my wife isn't allowed to check me out at Walmart. This wasn't my wife. I understand not being able to check out. Oh, but Hunter says his wife can't check him out, but he can use self-checkout. Fucking rules are so arbitrary. It's unbelievable. But it really just it irritates me. Give me the choice. Give me a choice to do it if I want. Because I don't want to. Bless you, Corey. I don't want to use self-checkout. And an interesting thing, by the way, Jim says if I see a green light above a self-checkout, I get happy. I've seen more than one lawyer say that the one thing they'd never do is use self-checkout. Because you're responsible. If the machine malfunctions, if you obviously, if you intentionally don't ring something, intentionally steal something, you're responsible. But even if it's a malfunction, even if it's an oversight, any reason whatsoever, if your stuff doesn't get scanned right, you're responsible. So we all know how well technology works 100% of the time. So you're just basically putting yourself at risk every time you use a self-checkout. Beyond that, I guess if a self-checkout is there and I use it, and there isn't an employee who could also be doing exactly what I'm doing, seeing I'm paying their weigh my meat at checkout. Why would I want to put my wiener on the scale? What? Wait, why am I weighing my junk at the checkout? Probably there's little cameras that shoot and take your picture while you're taking your junk out at the self-checkout. my biggest issue is when there's an employee standing monitoring me do the job that they're getting paid to do. I guess they're not getting paid to do it. The company's not asking them to do it. But what I'm buying from the company is paying for this employee to stand and watch me do the job that they could be doing. And my issue with self-checkout isn't about we're losing jobs or blah, blah, blah. We're taking cashiers' jobs. And my issue with self-checkout is when the fucking employee is still standing there. Hunter says his wife bought brisket and 10-pound chub. I'm missing 4 pounds. I got a 4-pound chub once. 3 pounds short on the brisket and only 9 pounds of ground. Pip's wondering, do they charge by the ounce or the inch? Chris Dixon says we got told that we couldn't bring bags into Walmart yesterday. She said they gave those for purchase at checkout. I asked her to think about that for a minute. She let us in. It's unfortunate that the employees have to suffer the consequences. Now, I don't know if this lady was genuinely sincere about the fact that she would love to run a register. I don't know. Maybe she was. Maybe she can't stand just standing around. I sure as fuck couldn't. But the fact that she is required to do that, I don't know. It just makes me fucking mad every time I have to deal with it. So I go to the pro desk usually. I don't know. We should have probably just walked to the other end of the store and saved my blood pressure going up. Like Holmes says that they only suffer if you're a dick. Not necessarily. If they just have to stand there all day instead of actively doing something, I guess they're actively monitoring you do the job. Do they get an employee discount? I know it's always tongue in cheek. When you do self checkout, why don't I get an employee discount? But seriously, do employees get discounted at Lowe's? I mean, I got paid for a few hours a few weeks ago for sure. That probably doesn't make up for all the time. Pip says no self checkouts when going through the garden center. That's all the way on the other end of the building. Mike Sosa said they signed up. There's worse shops. I mean, there is. But did they sign up for that? Like when you get hired at Lowe's, you get to pick where you want to work. Because I would honestly, I actually told Corey, we got discussing like how miserable would that be to be that person. And I said, I wouldn't mind working like the pro desk at Lowe's. I don't think that would be a horrible job. The guys that I interact with there always seem happy to be at work, and get to deal with. I mean, there are some ding dongs, but most of the people are in the trades, and they're at least mildly competent at what they're buying or what they need. There could be. I'm guessing that would probably be one of the better places to work in that store, and you don't have to stand and stare at the self checkout. So yeah, that was just raised my blood pressure. It made me irritated for the next like 3 stops. Then we had to go to Walmart because they didn't have everything we needed at Lowe's. Walmart was interesting. Our cashier at Walmart, she was, I mean, I don't know if I felt bad for her, but she was definitely having a rough go of it. She's in her she was probably in her 70s or 80s. Maybe some rough living. Maybe she was in her 60s. She asked her how she was doing. She's just like, someday I'll be better. I was like, well, tell me how you really feel. She was just miserable. I don't know if she was sick. I don't know if she was just having a bad day or a bad life or a bad week or what her deal was. I have to imagine if she was in her 70s working at Walmart as a cashier, she's probably wishing she had made some different life choices, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was just like, just irritated for the next couple stops. And then, yeah. So, but anyway, self-checkout at Lowe's. Skip it. Go to the Pro Desk, or like Pip, hot tip from Pip, head to the garden center. With the garden center, if you are in the market to plant some comfrey, you can go to comfreyroots.com, get your comfrey roots there. Bocking number 4 comfrey. It is a fantastic plant to have on your homestead, in your side yard as a side hustle. You can get your roots started, and yes, it is okay to plant them any time of year. I guess Texas Hunter and I put that to the test, and Texas was a little rough. Going in the summer, you're going to really have to baby them and take care of them and pay extra special attention. But anywhere north of where we are here in Tennessee, actually, I saw that Michigan, New York, a bunch of places were getting frost last night in June. What? The weather is not changing at all, guys. It's still okay to plant comfrey in the northern climates for sure. So go head over and grab a 10-pack of roots. Get your comfrey bed started today. Comfreyroots.com. Comfreyroots.com to get your Bocking number 4 comfrey. And last thing on the list today we'll talk about is our little woodworking, I don't know what you call it, hustle, project. I don't know. I enjoy it as the time I'm spending with my wife, and we're getting out, we're doing some things and making things and being productive, learning skills, and yeah, so that's what I would call it. But hopefully turns it into a little side hustle and a little income stream, and maybe more than that. So just to recap what's gone on so far, we built our first table, our first farmhouse table, ended up being a picnic table for us. I'm glad it is. We're learning some stuff. Didn't really like the way the stain we used. It was kind of wonky, and it's having some issues. Did some different things. Learned that a few tools that we wanted different to build that style table. Definitely learned that we wanted the proper 4x4s for the legs instead of the 2x4s that we used because we couldn't find the right material. We are planning on building a different style table for our second one, but in the meantime, we started building a bunch of other stuff, some smaller stuff that we could list in online marketplaces and ship easier. We did go and make a trip to get the supplies to make the base for the second style table, and we have that. That is, I believe, next on the list, or we have a few small things that I might put together before that. But after the first table, we've made several small products and a mini picnic table. So this past week, we dabbled with the mini picnic table. Corey and I cut up all the pieces with our new compound miter saw. Worked so much nicer than using a skill saw, and it also worked great for the small projects that we've made. Chris Dixon says, I asked my wife if she wanted to come help. She asked if I was just trying to get her to learn how to read a tape measure. Corey was actually the one that wanted to do this, which is really nice. I love doing stuff with her, and the more stuff that we can work on together and make money together and be productive together is great. So anyway, with the new compound miter saw, we busted out the pieces for the child-sized picnic table. This isn't something that we're going to ship. This is going to be a local product, so we're going to be selling locally farmhouse tables and benches. These mini picnic tables. Probably do a mock-up of a full-size picnic table, and eventually some benches and chairs and things like that. Stuff that's not going to get shipped, because if somebody wants to pay the shipping on them, we'll send them. But we also started to make a variety of products that are shippable. They're small enough to put in a box with a reasonable shipping rate. We did a floating wine bottle display. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's works with center of gravity, but basically it's a slab of wood at an angle. Angles cut at the top and the bottom of the hole drilled through it, and when you put the neck of the bottle in, the center of gravity basically makes the bottle levitate, and it's an optical illusion with the board at an angle, and then it floats. They're pretty cool looking. They're rather simple to make. So we made one of those. We got it stained and got some pictures taken. We also started making some tea light holders, basically for mantelpieces, centerpieces, decoration. 3 tea lights in a board, basically. Drill out the board for the tea light holes, and stain it up. And so we made one of those, got some feedback, got some pictures, and got those listed. And then Corey and we've been kind of just digging into just different things to list on Etsy and eBay and the online marketplaces. And she's like, these little crafty decoration things, and it's really weird to try to decide what to make when it's not really something that I would buy, or really I guess when we had the farm, we had the house, Corey would decorate up a little bit, but I don't know to this extreme. But we started looking at different things that people are buying and selling, and so little decoration pieces, and easy to make out of scrap wood, basically. Cut them to size, sand them down, stain them, paint them. Right now in the works, we have some little Christmas tree for us that she's working on. She's perfecting her techniques, working on her techniques. We had a good laugh about that yesterday. That she may end up needing to take art class, but I think they look great. I think she did a fantastic job. Some little mountainscapes. Some candy corns. She made some candy corns going into fall. Basically, we're making mock-ups, samples or whatever of all these different things to get pictures and get listings up, and then made to order if and when they sell. The candy corns are really cool looking, and then she also has some blanks left to mess around with and decide what she wants to do with it. We did get the mini child-sized picnic table put together and sanded down and stained yesterday. We chose a chestnut stain to stain the table. It looks really good, if I have to say. I think it looks fantastic. And now we're going to poly seal it. We're going to get that sealed with some spar urethane for outdoor, obviously for a picnic table. And then we are, we've been laughing about this for quite a while, but we're going to have to ask someone to borrow their kids. We're making child-side picnic table. We don't have any kids. So our property owner here has some grandkids. There's some kids down the street that are probably the appropriate size to fit at the picnic table. And so I'm trying to figure out, and I might have to ask Corey to do this, but I'm trying to figure out how to not sound like a pedophile when asking if I can take pictures of your. Can I take some pictures of your kids? I think that might not come off very well. I don't know if I pre say the purpose. Hey, I got this child size picnic table that I'm trying to get pictures of. Can I take some pictures of your kids, your grandkids? I need them to sit at this table. I want to take pictures of them. I don't know. I don't know if there's a good way to ask to use a child as a model to take pictures, especially for someone that looks like me. So maybe I'm gonna have to have Corey recruit the models for our pictures for the picnic table. But anyway, that's fun. The next project for local sale is that second style. Jim says, get a parent to sign a release. I need you to sign a release to take pictures of your children. I know you're probably being serious about that. We were definitely going to offer that not showing their faces. We just need size reference. I guess we could get our dogs to sit. They're the size of small children. That might be too big. It might be too big, but it is definitely a solid table. I plopped my ass down on top of it and rocked around a little bit. And it's definitely a solid table, and with the bench height, it wouldn't be a horrible step stool actually. So there is that. Next thing is going to be the second style farmhouse table we're going to make. Jim says furniture for dogs is a thing. Yeah, one of the little projects that we're eventually going to make as we accumulate tools is probably some elevated dog feeders, maybe some raised dog beds, things like that. But next focus locally will be the second table, and then there's a slatted bench that I'm excited to make. I have all the stuff to do it, except some of the lumber, but there's a bench design that I want to put together that looks fairly simple and inexpensive to build, and could be saleable at a decent profit. So that's on the list for me. As far as smalls, next on the list, I gotta make some more blocks for Corey, for some more crafty art style stuff, and then we're gonna put together some of the yard dice. I don't know if you guys have seen the yard Yahtzee and yard dice sets. They seem to sell quite a few online, especially this time of year, and then going into summer. So I have some extra 4x4s that we picked up when we went down and got the table legs. So I'm gonna plop some of those up and make some samples of those. And one thing that we did pick up this weekend to make everything a lot easier is we grabbed a benchtop sander. So a belt sander with the circular saw, the disc sander, belt sander, benchtop sander combo. We were doing everything either by hand or with a palm orbital sander. And I was watching Corey struggle with these small little projects with the hand sander, and I was just like, we got to get a benchtop sander. And so we stopped at Harbor Freight. The price was right. It is going to work for what we need. Read the reviews on it. It seemed like a lot of knife makers and stuff were using it, and they were happy with it for the price, especially. And so we picked one up on Saturday, and it was night and day difference with, especially with the smalls and trying to hold everything at the same time. Now she can have both hands on the project, and the belt sander's just rolling. And she was happy that we got it. I think she sanded the first one, and I asked her how it went. She said, well, it already paid for itself for sure. So glad we stopped in at Harbor Freight. Chris Dixon said, did you get the rubber belt cleaner? I didn't. I should. There, it looks like there's it's got a guard on it. I don't know if that pushes in. I didn't see anything in the manual about that being anything other than a guard, but I was kind of wondering what the end piece was. But I'll have to check out a rubber belt cleaner if it's $8 for sure. But it was nice. Stopped at Harbor Freight on Saturday, and they were giving they had free gift day, and I got 2 step down bits for free. So that was cool. Anyway, shop at Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight. Had good luck with their stuff. That's where we got our compound miter saw and our sander. And for beginner and for how we're having to use the tools and store them, buying super high-end tools is not ideal anyway. So getting started and getting going at a discount rate with Harbor Freight stuff is never a bad idea. So I'm excited. We're having fun making the projects and putting together. I'm probably going to end up going to some farmers markets or some local craft fairs, swap meets, flea markets, whatever, with the stuff as we're building inventory and have enough to go and make the time worth it. So excited to do that and hopefully sell some of this stuff. So if you want to check out the Facebook page and the TikTok, she's doing social media for the business. K&B Custom Built, K&B Custom with a K. Built is the name pretty much everywhere on. We have currently TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and I've been posting the projects over on Noster under my account. So check them out. You can find them on Etsy, and we will do custom orders. If you just shoot me a message, we'll build you whatever you want and ship it out. So anyway, that's all I got for today. We're at 7. We're gonna wrap it up and get out of here. Hope everybody has an awesome week. Hope you enjoy the weather where you're at. It looks like it's going to be a good one for the beginning of our week. Should get a lot done and maybe get caught up with from the rain a little bit. Man, it's rained, and I could go for a dry spell for sure. So anyway, watch out for that flock system when you're out driving around. You know you're getting tracked, you know you're getting watched and logged where you're going. Just keep that in mind when you plan your routes and decide where you're going out to hang out. I hope you have an awesome week. Hope you get a bunch of stuff done. Check us out over on the Telegram channel, t.me/LOTSchat, t.me/LOTSchat. Have a great week, guys, and we'll catch up with you next Monday.